Hello Internet, this is Lord Mad Dog, and I'm coming at you today with a tutorial for Day Sequencer. Haha, it is a new plugin that Unreal Engine has released. The problem is there's not very much documentation on it, and it took me quite a bit of time to actually figure out how to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and make it a lot easier for you to use it. So let's jump right into it. First off, you're going to actually have to load the plugin. Like any other plugin, we're going to type Day. And then we have Day Sequencers. You can see I've already loaded it, which is so we don't have to wait for my thing to go back up. Okay, now with it loaded, you can come up here and we can type Day Sequencer. Day Sequencer. Here we go. We're going to go ahead and you got a couple different options here. We'll talk about each one of these options, except for I don't know what Day Sequencer provider is. I have no idea what that is, so we're not going to talk about that. But we are going to talk mainly about this one, the Sun Moon Day Sequencer. This is basically a child of Day Sequencer, and they've already done the moon, already done the sun, and they've set up a few cycles here. So we're just going to add that to our world. As we see, it is causing not quite the perfect lighting here because we already have lighting in, so we're going to have to delete that lighting. But first, we're going to go ahead and put this at 0 so we get the absolute best results. Okay, now we're going to need to go delete all this other lighting stuff. We don't need it anymore, so we don't need that, the light, the hot, or the sun, the moon. There we go. We deleted that. And then since we're at night, it's already kind of really dark. So let's go ahead and bring it up here. We see now we have some light here. Now we're going to talk about exactly what the Day Sequencer does and what it has in it. It enables you to actually have a dual time sequence from dark to light, and it rolls around the sun and moon up there. It works pretty good. Right now, the only thing that's animated is the sun, and the clouds don't move. Anything else right now aren't set up. And we're going to talk about setting that stuff so we can actually get stuff to move and make things look different as we go through it. So we can see the sun is moving, and that's the only thing that's moving. But we also have some different cloud lights at the end of the day, which is really nice, and in the evening. There's some really well setups for that. I like that's very beautiful. I think that's nice. So first off, we're going to look at it a little bit, and then we're going to go into each one it does. So we're going to open Root Sequencer. See, this little thing pops up in your screen. I forgot to say that, and I've been using it. The moment you put a daylight sequencer in your thing, you get this little new ad up here. It's really nice. So we're going to open our daylight sequencer. We're going to look exactly. We don't need this open. We do need these open. So, okay. So down here at the bottom is the sky sphere animation and everything for that. I would suggest that you don't directly edit any of this. We're going to be editing this later on through different methods. Okay, so we can add and take away. But in here we can see that it has the it has your sky sphere set up. It has the intensity as the moon size, as the star size. It has a lot of different things that are really easy. I mean, really cool to mess with. But like I said, we don't really want to mess with any of that. So we're going to exit this one again, and we're just going to go hit open Root Sequencer here again, and we're going to hit Day Sequence 1, and now we see this is the actual thing that's animating the sun. See, this here is what's animating our sun. And then, as I said already, our moon does not move. All right, so with that said, we have our Day Sequencer there, and you can see right there, we're looking at the moon. It is not moving. Now, we're going to get the moon moving. It's going to take a little bit of work to get there, but we're going to get, by the time this thing is done, that'll probably be like the last thing we do because it's a little bit more involved. All right, so let's go ahead and make copies of everything first. If you're going to be editing with any of these things, you're always going to want to make a copy of what you're using. So what we're using over here in the corner, because we got, let me make sure we're just going to exit this and actually select the full system. There we go. Make sure we have that actually selected. And yep, okay. Down over here, there should be, and right here it is. This thing here is what we're going to look for. We need this and these two. We need these two to copy. We're going to copy these, and we're going to bring them up into our blueprint folder, wherever your blueprint. I like to have things very organized. So we're going to call this Day Sequencer. There we are. We're going to paste these in here. Okay, we're also going to name them different because we're not really editing them, but like just in case you do want to edit them, it's always good to have copies of them. So we're going to make this one. This is, yeah, the default. Day sequence. This one is going to be our sun sun movement. I think I got that right. Let's make sure that's actually right. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's the one that currently has our sun movement, and we're going to eventually make it have sun and moon movement. All right. So another thing we're going to want to do is we're going to make an actual blueprint of the system so we can interact with it later on without having, like, if we want to have, well, we'll just talk about it a little bit later. Blueprints, actor, BP, day sequencer. No, I just spelled that wrong. Day cycle. That's what we're going to call this. There we are. Day cycle. All right. So we're going to come into here. We're going to edit. We're going to file reparent blueprint. We're going to reparent to the day sequencer. Day sun moon sequencer. Here we go. Boom. Boom. Doof. Now, oh, actually, I need to open that up and I need to change the settings inside it to be the one what we selected. So we want this one here, sun movement one. Yep, that's the one we want. File, save, done. Now this is just good habits. Doing stuff like this, making, if you're messing with any type of plugin or information, you want to grab your data from it and make sure you put it in your content folder, because that stuff can change later on and it can break stuff. You can break it really bad. Or you could end up breaking it yourself and having to re-download stuff. So it's just always good to back up stuff. So we're going to delete this old one we just put in here. This day sequence, we're going to go outliner. Where's it at? Yeah, trying to select it there. Sun, moon, day sequence. We're going to delete it and put our new one into the world. Boop, boop. And we're going to move it to the details 0, 0. Okay. Now we're actually getting ready to begin our actual work. So we see we still have the sun. We have everything perfectly fine. Let's start with something real easy. We're going to go ahead and modify the clouds. I think the clouds right now are just a bit too thick. So what we're going to do is we're going to open our content drawer. We're going to add a, one sec, there we are, day sequence. Is it a collection? No, it's a sequence. There we go. Okay. We're going to call this DS less clouds. Clouds. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and open this up. It's going to open up a brand new day sequence right here. It's going to always be rooted, always going to be automatically find the day sequence inside your world and use it. Okay, and you should only ever have one. If you have two, it'll give you warnings. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to give ourselves the matching time. So matching time of all the other sequences is from 0 to 450. So we're going to change this to 450 over here. Let's change 450. That way we know we're always going to be in line. It will automatically stretch it out to equalize it. But I find it's just easier to always go to 450 to make things work. Okay, so now let's say we want less cloud coverage. All right, so we're going to open this. We're going to find our volumetric cloud. We're going to find our instance material, and then we're going to go global coverage. Global coverage. All right, we're going to open that up. We aren't putting any timeline keys yet. We're just going to reduce the coverage. And I think about there is good. Now, I want to note that this is also, they do have a bias system. So which means that what is higher bias is selected over the other biases. But unless you're going to constantly adjust your priorities, you should, most of the times you probably won't end up really messing with that. You can because as a priority here, see, I have to actually go into the settings. It'll have a bias setting when I show you that. But this will be, if it's set on the same bias, it will be affected that's current with the other current active ones, unless you have it a higher bias. And so right now it seems like it's pretty low, but since I'm not going to be messing with the biases, it's also going to be added a little bit cloud coverage from the default cloud coverage. Okay, so that's noticed. We're done with this. We have this all set up. Now what we have to do, there's a couple ways we can activate this less cloud coverage. I'm going to show you the first way because it's really interesting. It's really useful. We're going to hit day sequence. Day sequence. We're going to get the modifier, day sequence modifier value. This is what we want. All right. Now, once it's in the world, we are going to select our less cloud coverage right there. Now, if we go into it, oh, it messed with the time there a sec. It does that when you first drop it into the world. I found that very annoying. It does do that when you first drop. There, you see, immediately you have less cloud coverage. It affects it completely and totally instantly. Now, we can increase this modifier in size. And if we increase it big enough, we can change the blend amount. So this is how far this is 100 units into it. It'll be 100%. If you're only a couple units into it, it will be, like 1%. So, but if we want to be like about 500 units into it, we can see it kind of fade in as we go into it. Yeah, about 500 there. I should have just typed it in. So we can see here, I'll slowly kind of come into it and it'll kind of fade into it. There you go. You see, okay, 500 might be a little bit too much. We can't actually get all the way into it. So we turn this down to like maybe 300. All right, there. See, yep. There, cloud coverage is now, you can see it's completely good. And as we get closer to the edge, it'll fade in and out. That's a very nice way to mess with these things. But let's say you want to have that kind of like a permanent setting inside your system. That is really easy to do. We're going to go ahead and delete this cloud coverage. Well, actually, first, before we delete it, I want to show you something. We're going to open our root sequencer, and we'll see that this new DS less clouds is actually activated on our sequencer here. And we zoom into it as we get closer into the middle of it. There we are. Now it's 100% active. Yeah, and you can see it just kind of blends in there really easy and blends out really easy. Okay. So we're going to move this to the side. We're not going to mess with that for now. All the way. Okay. We're going to save, and then we're going to come over and exit this. We're actually going to make sure we're selecting our daylight sphere. Having this thing hard to select just a little bit of, oops, that's the wrong one hit. I want to hit this, my daylight sequence cycle. I'm going to bring this up so it's a little bit easier for me to grab and interact with. Now we're going to open up our DS Sun movement thingy. Here, this one. Oops, content drawer is not coming all the way open. We're going to open this up. We're going to add a new one. And we're going to hit our less clouds. And we're not going to mess with the bias. Right here, you can set your bias offsets. The offset, the hierarchical bias assigned to this collection entry. What I believe this does, and I've kind of tested it and I'm not 100% sure, that means if you have this a higher value, it is basically your priority. It seems to be that way, but I'm not 100% sure. So it can override other settings inside the city. So the default system right here has pretty high cloud value, but this one, since we're not messing with any of the biases, we'll see that it's not going to be totally less clouds like I had set. See right there, that's going to end up being the parse value between them two. We have now inside our blueprint, open blueprint, we can see that this right here is fully active, but it's not actually got that big of effect. Right, if we run on over here and we get in the middle, we got a lot bigger effect. So you got to take that into account unless you're messing with the biases. I will try go ahead and mess with the bias a little here. And we're going to give it a 20% bias. Think that will make it a lot thicker. Oops, I didn't mean to take that down. Yes, see, there we go. It has a complete total bias set. So that's also nice knowing. If it's just hit 1, is that a complete bias set too? I think it's percentage based, but I'm not entirely sure. We're going to take it to 0 again. Yeah, I think it might be kind of like a percentage base. So we'll make this 10%, 10 higher price. Nope, it seems like it's just priority, different priority. Okay, so I think we'll just leave it at a mix between the two. We'll leave it at 0. Okay, so there is that one. As you see, I have basically built a new system that allows us to modify things. Now let's talk about actually doing something that's animated. Okay, so the easiest thing we can do here is stars. So we're going to go ahead and animate some stars. We're going to go ahead and create a new one, a day sequence. Day, I keep on forgetting there's a space between day and sequence. Normally there's no space between stuff. Okay, we're going to hit DS, which means day sequence. Day sequencer. We're going to make this brighter stars. All right. Now we're going to go, I'm going to show you something that is kind of neat that I learned while messing with this. We're going to open this one. We're going to add our new newly created brighter stars to it. Brighter stars. Now it's added. Now that brighter stars actually does absolutely nothing, but something that is cool. If we click this, now we see it inside our daylight sequencer. We see that we actually have its effect of the other animations are still intact. See, if you edit it just by itself without putting it in there and then double clicking it, the effects will not be intact. So I would suggest if you're going to be making like a modifier and you want to have it have time sensitive acts, I would suggest going ahead and putting it into your sequencer with the other ones. And that way you can get it in time with everything else that is happening. All right, so we're going to do I think it's our skylight. And we're going to do, I'm trying to remember what it was. Is it? No, I do not remember exactly. Having a little bit of a faulty brain here. It's not too big of a deal. We'll click on it and find it real quick by coming over here. Open root sequencer. We're going to come down to the very bottom one. This is the one that has all the little neat stuff. And it has something to do with star intensity right there. It's the M material. Okay, so it's in your sky sphere inside your instance material. All right, so we're going to exit that, reopen it again. I have not found a way to go back. That's very annoying. There we go. We're going to go to sky star. Is it sky sphere or skylight? I just messed up again. There it is. I think it's was it skylight or sky sphere? Where did I don't want to have to go back and look again. That's so embarrassing. Okay, skylight. And where is my instance material? All right, I have to go back and look again. I'm sorry about that. Open root sequencer. It is in my sky sphere underneath my material slot. Sky planning. Okay. Root sequencer, brighter stars, my sky sphere, material slot. There we go. No, I didn't actually mean the slot. I meant the actually open. This is it. Yes, right here. Now, stars intensities. All right, finally I got there. So we want our star intensity to start out. Let's see. We're going to go ahead and turn our sky intensity up to, we'll see what we got. Probably about, we want that very bright. Oops, come on. Let's go with about, let's go at 8. Sky intensity of 8. Then we're going to go, because we don't want this showing during the day. See, right now we can see the skies during the day, and we don't really want that. So we want to right there, right? It's about a little bright. We want to come here. Oops, I forgot it does it. It pops your thing around when you move them manually. So right there, I'm going to add a point here, and we're going to want to go back just a little bit because it's going to tween to that. So we're going to go and how fast do we want this to tween? We're going to take it 35. Well, you know what? I think we kind of want I kind of like the stars there. Well, we'll change. We'll actually change the keys later on here. So we're going to have this at 8, and then we're going to drag this one out a little bit. There we go. And we're going to have this down at 0. So there we are. My light's intensity will fade as the sun comes in. There we go. You can no longer see the lights in the sky. That should be a little bit more intense of an effect I thought it would be. But yeah, that's not bad. Should be, yeah, okay. There we go. Then we're going to come back over here, right here. We're going to add a new thing, and we're going to bring it just a few pieces over. We're going to change the light star intensity to 8 again, and we'll bring it all the way out and cap it off at 8. And you know, there's something I didn't do, and that may be what's actually causing the problem here, is that I didn't extend my timeline. Yes, that's one thing I was talking about. Make sure you extend your timeline. 450. And I think that's actually what's causing the problems with it not seeming like it's actually kind of working. I was like, why is this kind of like not really feeling like it's working to me? And we need to, that's something we should have done before we go messing with any of it. We should have just extended the timeline. I've experienced that problem before when I was trying to learn from it. That it just, things didn't seem like they were actually working like they should. And I was like, oh, the timeline, because it starts out, the default timeline is only 150 seconds. It should be 100. I don't know why they did that. It's supposed to, when I was looking at the information, it was supposed to auto calculate the difference between it. But as you see there, the stars didn't seem to be dimming. There they go. The stars dim now. Right there. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and drag the stars all the way out. Okay. Let's actually give us 54 second, 5 seconds, so I can actually see a little past it and make sure we got it all out. Yep. Okay, save. Now we're going to exit this, go back to our daylight sequence, open root sequencer, star brightness, and we can see here if I have my timeline right. Why is that there? I think I'm having a little bit of a bug. It's not a completely fully working out system yet. Save this, because it's still registering my timeline as being only 150 seconds there when I was messing with my bright stars. Yep, it's still registering, only it's messed up the whole timeline now. Well, it should still work. Let's see if it's working. No, the stars are staying bright the whole way through. All right. Well, in that case, to fix this little bug here, which I have run into once before, just removing it from my settings here, removing the whole thing, delete, reopening my time sequencer, seemed to fix it the last time I did it. There we are. Like I said, when you first open it up, you want to definitely adjust your timeline. Want to make sure your timeline is adjusted accordingly. Otherwise, you're going to have bugs like that. Okay, with that done, We should be able to exit this. And once again, re-add our our stars. Brighter stars. There we go. Boom. Let's see if that worked. Yes, it works perfectly now. Yep, the stars get lighter and brighter, lower and brighter. So we can actually go ahead and put the average time of day. We over here in the corner, we can choose, instead of panning up there, we can use pan through here. We can choose the time of preview just by typing it in. We can choose over here in the bottom, we can choose our full day length. I just suggest not messing with more than 24 hours. I found that if I go messing with the 24-hour timeline, it kind of ends up messing the timelines up really royally, and then you have to redo them yourself. And it's best you don't want to do that with the sun. I'm not sure if they'll ever fix that or if it's just something I was doing when I was messed up that did it. But anyway, you can also choose your initial time, and you can also choose your daylight, your full time cycle. So right now it's set at 5 minutes. If you wanted to be like Minecraft, you can set it at 10. But right now for testing, we're just going to set this at 15. All right. And our initial time is about 6 o'clock in the morning. That's fine. So we're going to hit play. And we see here the sun will shoot across our screen and shoot on down. And then it'll come back up here in a bit. In a bit. Come on. There we are. And down it goes again. So we have a 15-second day. And when you see the starlights get a little bit brighter, and then we'll see the starlight getting a little less bright. Yep, it fades and gone. There we go. Now, as we see, the moon is still stuck in the middle of the world, and it's not moving at all. And that kind of ruins the whole effect. And the moon is also not quite bright enough. So, wow, we're going to actually work on the moon. And this is where it's going to take a little bit of time, because the moon, to animate something, it takes a bit of time. I could do it off screen, but I'm going to show you how I figured out how to do it, because I was having a lot of trouble trying to get the moon to look nice and animate nice, and it was just okay. So day sequencer. That's right. It's a space again. Okay. So we're going to call this DS moon move. Now, first off, right thing we're going to do, we're going to click open it and make sure we expand the timeline to 450. You make sure you get that right. Don't want to have to redo our entire time after I mess with it. We're going to hit save. Then we're not going to do anything else more at the moment. We're going to add it to our not sequence. No, our where is it at? 24 hours moon set. Here we are. We're going to add this to our system. Moon move. There we are. Now, the way they did the sun, they used some type of procedural system that I was not able to dissect. I spent about an hour trying to dissect their sun. How exactly? Because this is procedurally set. If you know how this is done, I would love for you to get into the comments and tell me, and then I wouldn't have to do this manually. Because I would love how their sun sequence is actually set by the day, by the time, day, and equinox and latitude, and that's really cool. I don't know how they set this up. I tried to search into the base files to figure out this sequencer, because they have a couple of other sequencers, but I couldn't find them in the files. If you come over here in the content files and you type, because it's named sun position sequencer, sun po, and it's gone. There's nothing. And so I have no idea where this system they have set together that allows you to use it is at. So we're going to have to manually do this for the moon. But I do have a nice thing that because of the sun, I do have a guideline. So we're going to use the sun as our guideline. We're going to open our root sequencer and we're going to actually find the thing that moves the sun, which is, I'm trying to remember which one that was. I think it's day sequence. The day sequence. Here it is. Yes. We're going to come in here. And we're going to grab its rotation data. Copy it, Control C. All right. Now we're going to exit this again because we don't need to mess with that. We just need its data. We're going to open a root sequence and we're going to come into our moon movement. We're going to open our moon component. We're going to add transform. No, not transform. Is it transform? I think it was rotation. Might be transform. Maybe it is transform. Okay, yeah, it is. Rotation. Here it is. And we're going to hit Control V. Oops. We're going to bring that back. We don't need that over there. Here we go. Make sure, no, at 1, at 0. Thank you. Okay, right now what's going on is now our moon is following our sun. So if we flip it around, we're going to see that our moon is gone. Completely and totally gone. No, it's not gone. It's just actually with the sun. All right. So what we want is the moon to appear when the sun goes down. And I'm trying to figure out exactly how I did this. I'm trying to remember. Is it when the sun comes up, we want the moon to be on that side? Nope. It's when the sun goes down. Yep. So we're going to come follow the sun all the way out. We need the less clouds here. So we can see the sun right there is where the sun is at. So we want the moon to appear right about that. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab this whole thing and we're going to scroll it on. It moved my. Okay, right now, there's our moon. We want the moon to be where, okay, we want the moon to be going down. Right now, it should be. Now, if it didn't move my timeline, that's so annoying. I wasn't having that problem earlier. Okay, so we're almost there with the sun down. Here we are. Where's our moon at? May have moved it too far back. There it is. And where's the sun? There's the sun, so I did move it too far. There's the sun. There's the moon. Right as the sun rises. That's exactly what we're looking for. Now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and just cut these off the back and move them like so to the front. We're going to line it up. Now, that doesn't quite get us to where we need to go, but it gets very close. So we'll see here, as it gets dark, the moon should be right there in the middle of the sky. Right there it is. Up there is the moon. And as it goes down, doof, it is gone. Wait, okay, yeah, that's right. And as the sun goes up and around, the moon should start to appear already. Where is it at? Hey, buddy, where'd you go? Oh, there. Okay, so we need to do some major modifications. So this is about where we want the moon to be, start showing. We have this right here is the ones we want. So we don't need any of these in between. Delete that. All right. We are going to bring you back. Okay. Right there, I think, is where we want the moon to appear. So we now have our sun appearing right as the moon disappears. We do have a problem though, because this needs to now be in the middle. This little keyframe needs to be in the middle of where that one's at. So we're going to go ahead, and this is 341 out of 550. I'm going to tell you how to do this math, and I'm not going to do it on screen because I'm not that good at math. I'm sorry. 50 minus 341 equals 100 divided by 2 equals 54. And we're going to add 54, 341. And that means we should put these new ones at 395. So we want that to be right. We're going to zoom in. 395. We're going to move these to right here. There we go. 395. Now we basically have what we need, but I'm going to show you a major problem we're gonna have here. And once you see it, you're gonna be like, oh man, that stinks. And I'm going to show you how to fix it. All right. So we're going to watch the sun go all the way across. We're going to watch our moon come up. And then boom, you see that, did you? The moon jumped across the screen. Okay, now that's happening because we do not have a exact it's not, because the moon is in the middle of this timeline is right here is actually where the 12 the midnight is at, and over here is where it ends. What we need to do is we need to make these last keys match these new keys exactly. I mean, the beginning keys exactly. So we're going to go ahead and open our what is this called? Curve sequencer. We're going to go into our settings here. If I can remember where they're at, we're going to select them. Oops, select all of them. Okay. We're going to hit this little thing, and we're going to post infinity cycle so we can see exactly where they're messing up. You see here, we have this big jump here. This cannot be there. So we want to move each one of these to, they're actually going to be exactly the same. So we're going to select this here. This is 203. And on this side, it is 211. Now, I could do the little bit of math to get the exact middle, but I'm not going to do that right now because I don't feel like it. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to 208. Yeah, let's go 208. 8. And we're going to grab this, and we're going to bring it to 208 as well. All right. Now they have those two sides connecting just perfectly well. We do have a slight problem with our tangents. We're going to want to have our tangents kind of follow the same. See what your tangent is out here? That controls how it's animating. Your tangent, you want to make sure that it's going to basically kind of line up with how it looks on this side, because if it doesn't, you're going to have a little bit of a jitter. Okay, on this thing, it is 132, and on this side is 146. So we're going to bring this one down to 139, 138. We'll just go with 138. Okay. And we're also going to bring this one up to 138. And once again, we're going to go ahead and modify the curve so it's not so dramatic of a difference here. Okay, now with that, we're going to have an almost perfect cycle. What we will still have a few bit of problems. I believe, if memory serves me right, that it's going to be a little faster once it passes over the top of this cycle. Oh, there's my magic rig firing off. Okay, there we go. And like I said, there was a little bit of speed up there. You saw that just a tad bit of a speed up. And you could go in there and mess with your, where you position your keyframes here is what you would have to do. As you see here, this keyframe, this length of keyframes is longer than this length of keyframes. So you would need to figure out a ratio between them and make them equal to each other. So there's not that such that stuttering judder. But that took me over 3 hours to get right on my own project. So I am not going to do it right here. I just give you the basics of how to do it. And then you can either download my full project while it's still available to be downloaded, which is my Melee Combat project, and copy it from there. Or if it's not available no longer for free, then you have to buy it from Marketplace. Anyway, that is the basics of the daylight cycle, but we're going to go ahead and talk about a couple other things that you can do that I found very useful while I'm messing with it. We're going to bring this back here to, I don't want to be in the late night dark here as we mess with stuff. Okay, since I made it a blueprint, there are a few things that we can do that are pretty cool that we don't necessarily need it to be a blueprint, but we can, in the day sequencer here, if we come in our blueprint here, we open up the full blueprint, and we can get our day sequencer, and we can get it to send out event notices. So we can have it send out call functions. But you can also do that without having it do that. And I'm going to show you how to do that without having it being a blueprint. If you don't want to make it a blueprint for yourself, I made it a blueprint for myself, and it's been working beautiful for what I want to do. But I'm going to show you how you can actually call it without actually call the day sequencer without actually having a blueprint and having stuff have events dispatchers, or events dispatchers is the way I'm going to do it. But I'm going to show you how, because if you know how to do events dispatchers, it should be pretty easy for yourself. Okay, let's go ahead and make a new blueprint. I'm going to call this an actor DS. We're going to call this daytime, no space, modifier, fire. There we are. We're going to open it up. We're going to add a box. No, wrong box. I need a collision box. Box collision. All right. We're going to select on that box collision on component begin overlap. We're going to make sure that it's equal to the player. This is not necessarily the way you would want to do this all the time, but get player character, and there we go. You probably want to actually cast to your actual NPC, whatever your like, I have third person character you want to cast to it, but this works just as fine for now because we're only doing this for example. Now we're going to add we're going to get day, keep on beginning, there's no space. Sequence, we're going to pull down, it should be, is there a space? Is there a space? There's a space. Okay, so day sequence subsystems. Trying to remember what I get here from now. It's a lot of stuff to remember how to do it. Get day sequence actor. Yep, that's it. There we are. Now we're going to do this from here. We're going to set time to set time of day. Yes, we're going to actually be able to set the time of day from the get-go. Well, we're going to do for here though. We're going to get a lerp. A timeline. So it's not instant. So timeline, not timer, timeline, add timeline. We're going to go day, time change. We're going to open it up. Make sure we're going to hit play from start. 5 seconds is good. We're going to add day timer. Okay. We don't need that. Oh yeah, we do. We need to add a float. This is just basic stuff here. It's just take me a few seconds to do it though. Right here, a note. So start at 5, you hit value of 1, and we're done with that. We don't need this open anymore. We're gonna have an update. We're gonna lerp. We're gonna have 2 values that we need lerp. The first value is going to be, we're going to get it before, is going to be our starting value. Promote current time. We're going to set current time when it's interacted with. We're going to get from this actor, get time. I'm just doing this to give you an example of what you can do and how you can grab it without having a blueprint, without calling, um, without using calls and maybe uh, uh, without casting to it and whatnot. So you're able to just grab it from here. All right. Now the second one is going to be the actual time we want. Promote to variable. We're going to go time of day. Doot. No. Current time of day. We're going to then day timer. We're also going to make this instance editable. Expose on spawn. And we are done with our blueprint. We're going to drag it into the world. We're going to scale it so we can actually walk into it. Did I just scale it the wrong direction? Yes, I did. All right. And then we're going to go in. Why isn't that not show there? Time of day. We're going to make this 7 o'clock. So when we walk into it, we will see the time of day change to 7 o'clock. Oh, wait, we got to actually slow down our daytime first. So let's go time. Let's go ahead and select our timer over here. We're going to make this a lot longer than 15 seconds. We'll just make it 12 hours. Our time per cycle. If you're going to be setting time, I think narrative-wise, I think setting time for different events and whatnot is really cool. All right, so when we walk into it, and what's going on here, I can't see. You know what? Let's set our initial time of day a little bit brighter so I can actually see. I think I walked right off the. I did. I walked right off. So we're going to set our initial time of day to 12 o'clock. There we go. Now, play. We're going to walk into it, and it should be setting our time is. There we go. To 7 o'clock. And now it's set the time to 7. And we have that nice little overview. And now there is many other things that we can do inside this with this system, just like that. We can change the clouds. We did to change the clouds. We can change the intensity. We can even set weather. We can change the color like they've done with that. Basically, there's this thing. This system is very neat. I like it. It allows me to have a lot of creative control. I've already made a couple areas in my demo for my Melee project to be very awesome looking. Like when you enter the area for the first bullet heaven, it has like a morning pink shell look, and it's really cool. And then when you enter the arena area, it's overcast and it's kind of cold and cloudy looking. And when you're in the actual dock area, I have it set so it's kind of like reddish pink outside, and it's kind of foggy inside, because you can change the exponential height fog and everything. You can do everything right through this daylight sequencer, and you can do them right through here. So it's really cool, the different things you can do. So if I bring up this open root here thing, let's see which ones this is. Our less clouds. This is currently less clouds. Let's go ahead. I want to have we're already messing with the let's go ahead and mess with our volumetric height fog. There, exponential height fog. So let's say we want our height fog to, while we're inside this thing, to be a lot higher. Oops, I'm going to scroll out here. Our height fog to be a lot thicker. We probably have to change the opaquity. Wait, no, what am I messing with? Yeah, that's global coverage. I don't think I actually hit the height fog. No, I'm not messing with the height fog. I'm like, why isn't that working? No, I'm not actually messing with it. Let's go here. Fog density here, yeah. So we want to make it very foggy. Nah, I think that's work. I did it set up. It takes a little bit to mess with. I shouldn't be messing with it. You basically get the idea. You can change everything from right inside these things to make them really cool, different effects. I'm not sure why my fog density does not seem to be working right now. I'm guessing I didn't have it properly set up. Yeah, so I mean, I guess I just don't have things quite properly set up. Like probably the opacacy is not there. Yeah, the opacacy is not set up. Everything else is not set up. But yeah, you get the ideal. You can do so much with this system. It's really cool. And I had messed with my clouds here. I wanted to have less clouds, and now it's got more clouds. There we go. Okay. All right, that is pretty much everything I have to do with this daylight sequencer. I mean, it is a very powerful add-on, and I have found it very useful. It didn't take me more than a couple days to make a full daylight system for my game, and I think that's really cool because other than that, I didn't like the way where you just basically use blueprints, and then once it's set, trying to modify things is a little bit of a pain. I was even able to use the daytime to create a little widget up here in the corner that allows me to show the day of the time, and it took me a little bit to set up, but that was really neat too. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this comprehensive tutorial. If you have, like, shares, and comments is always welcome. If you have any more questions, I will, if there's something that I missed and that you want covered, I may go ahead and make another tutorial on this for you if it's big enough for me to do so. Lord Mad Dog, signing off.